So what's copyright? What's a trademark? And what does this have to do with yarn crafts? So, copyright is the ownership of written words, and trademark is the ownership of images. Copyright is usually used to own things like books, scripts, the body copy in an ad. Anything that you write down, you own in copyright. Copyright law is fairly complex, and no, I'm not a lawyer, but I do have my MBA in marketing, so copyright was kind of an important thing for me to know. And trademarks are the images. So that's things like the special Y that they use in Yarnspirations. That's the special DC that the DC clothing company has, and in fact that's different from the special DC that DC Comics owns. Trademarks can also be common images for characters. So going back to Marvel, the image of Thor is it's trademarked by Marvel. So what does any of this have to do with yarny goodness? Well, you know those patterns that you don't like to buy, but sometimes it's totally worth it, and sometimes it's amazing that you get them for free? Well, even when you purchase a pattern, you don't own that pattern. The copyright is still held by the person who published it, the person who wrote it. And that's why when you purchase a pattern, you don't get to sell that pattern again. It's actually illegal. Now, in the United States, the person who wrote the pattern cannot stop you from using that pattern to make an item and then selling that item. That's actually a very ancient, for America, piece of law that you can do that. So I took the pattern for this headband, hairpiece from Jada in Stitches, who is awesome, and I'll put her link to this pattern down below. But I made this. I can make as many of these as I want, and I can sell them in my Etsy shop. I'm not doing that. I don't think there's too much of a market for this particular piece, but I could if I wanted to. And I don't even have to give Jada any credit. Now, that's not kosher, and I like to put credit to the people who created the patterns, but that's a pleasantry. It's not technically required, but you should do it. Now, the thing that's illegal is taking their pattern and reselling it as your own. That's illegal. That's illegal with books, that's illegal with magazines, that's illegal with scripts, that's illegal with everything. And further, with trademarks, you can't produce a trademarked image and sell it. It doesn't matter if it's your own pattern or not. So again, Jada in Stitches, and I will have another link for this one down below, made a wonderful TARDIS purse. And I really like it. It looks just like the police call box, and on the back you can put, I put the 10th Doctor's catchphrase, allons-y. But here's why this one is legal for us to make, because technically the TARDIS and the Doctor Who logo are owned by the people who own Doctor Who. But Jada doesn't make any money off of it. It's a free pattern. That's the big workaround for copyright and trademarks. If you're not making money off of it, it's legal. There's actually two more ways to get around copyright. It can be for educational purposes, and it can be for comedy. That's why Weird Al totally steals a song and changes the words so it goes from being American Pie to The Saga Begins, and he doesn't have to have permission because it's all for comedic purposes. Now, Weird Al is awesome, and he only publishes and makes money off of things with permission, which is one of the extra reasons we love Weird Al, but doesn't have to because it's for comedy. Well, crochet and knitting is really not comedy, so that one doesn't apply. And you might be able to do it if you're selling it for raising money for band or for, well, more often than not in terms of music copyright is if you have a dance recital for your dance studio, because you're teaching lessons and performing arts. There is an educational component in performing. You can get around copyright that way. Doesn't really apply to Yarny Goodness. But if you're not making money, hey, you can make this TARDIS backpack and you can give it to a friend, and that's perfectly legal. And if you're buying a pattern for somebody else that you already own, especially since a lot of patterns are completely done online, it's a good idea to purchase the pattern once for yourself and then purchase it again for your friend. It's just like a book. If you were buying a hard copy of a book for yourself, you'd buy one book for yourself and you'd buy another one to give to a friend. It's the same thing with electronic media. It's just kosher to do that, and we should all do that. So I hope this helps you out. Stay tuned for a video that I'll be making sometime soon about how to sell your products on Etsy. And I wanted to make sure that this video came out first because I will be referring to it. So I hope this helped you. Please leave a comment down below if you have any additional details. I know I barely covered this topic and it has a lot of strong feelings for a lot of people. If you like this video, please be sure to like it. Also subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you can be notified whenever I come up with a new video. Anyway, happy crafting. See you next week. Bye.